What is going on, YouTube people? Today, another edition of the weekly sports card market update. Once again, recording early on Saturday, getting this in before the Ohio State Texas game. Last week, when I did this, I said, if anything crazy happens, I won't know about it. Same thing applies for this week. Last week, we missed out on the $13 million dual Kobe Jordan logo man sale, which went down later that day. I am not expecting anything that crazy this week. And that did kind of kick off the week, even though I missed it on the market update. We did end up talking about it midweek last week. I don't know that we need to rehash any ground there, as that is a horse that has been beaten to death already. The will it, won't it, maybe it will, maybe it won't effects of what that card sale means. I think at this point in time, most people have settled into it was probably just about as much the marketing of it all for their new secure platform as it was anything else. Do they believe cards are asset classes? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. What I do believe for sure is that they knew it was going to get a ton of press, and boy, oh boy, did it, and it worked to perfection. So shout out to them for using that card the way that they did, I guess. But feels more like a marketing ploy than anything else. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm sure this is not going to be the last that we see of the secure platform doing crazy things. Before we dive too deep, shout out to channel partner ComC.com, sponsor of the weekly sports card market update. They are going to be at the Dallas show upcoming for drop-offs, and also the Philly show later in September. It feels like we just had a Dallas card show, but they'll be on site at both for drop-offs. You can take advantage of their new mobile drop-off offering where you don't even need to print paperwork. I haven't even had a chance to try this yet. Last time I did a physical drop-off, I did it with paperwork. And my last submission that I sent prior to the National has fully been uploaded, and I am already starting to sell cards off from that. So, if you have a bunch of cards you need to get rid of, don't feel like dealing with them, send them off to ComC. Some nonsense of the week before we get into some news of the week. Speaking of card shows, a few little Twitter things to share around. This got posted by Card Purchaser and was in my opinion, and this actually was from a few weeks ago, but it just kind of surfaced this week, a hot take from a card show promoter, basically saying that people are effing stealing when they come into the card show and thinking that you could buy and sell to other customers. Here, quote, "I do not give a shit how you reword it or explain it. When you come into a card show as a customer and think you can buy and sell to other customers, that is effing stealing. That is all it is. Pieces of crap want to win the lottery without buying a ticket." And then some more MFers, all sorts of nonsense. He has spoken to security. They will remove people. Now, it's 2025. Card shows have changed. Is he completely right? Is he completely wrong? The answer lies somewhere in the middle, as it does with most things. And I'm not a card show promoter. I know a lot of card show promoters. I know how modern card shows tend to operate. I have been to a ton of card shows. Should people be able to buy and sell with each other at a show? In my opinion, absolutely. Do they need to respect the dealer's space? Yes. Should they be set up on a random spot that they just kind of figured out? No, that's wrong. Should they be sitting on the floor with their Zion case open? No. Should they be pulling people away from dealers' tables? No. Should they be interrupting in the deal saying, "Hey, I have that card in my case, I can give you a better deal on it"? No. But if a couple people are walking around a show and they get to chatting, or maybe, I know myself personally, I use shows as meetups to do deals with people. So I'll have stuff prearranged. We meet like at the Hartville show. There's a little food court area. I'll set my case down, open it up, get whatever card or wax or whatever it is that we've agreed upon, and do the exchange there. Stuff like that is perfectly fine. Hell, even busting stuff out and flipping through a case on off to the side somewhere, in my opinion, is perfectly okay as long as you're not impeding a dealer's space, as long as you're off to the side doing it, and as long as it's like a one-on-one thing between you and somebody else and you're not actually setting up and displaying. I think this stuff is okay. And to be quite frank, I don't know how you police it. Especially how you police it and not piss off a ton of people attending the show. The old head dealers might not like this stuff. A lot of them don't even understand the concept of a trade night and how it benefits a show. But is there some negatives to this? Possibly. But in my opinion, if done correctly and people aren't idiots about it, and that's always the asterisk in most things, this sort of behavior overall is a net benefit for the show. It's going to get more people to attend. It's going to put more cash moving around on the show floor. Even if it's not all directly going to a dealer, a lot of it's probably going to end up there anyways. If someone walks in and sells something, whether it's to a dealer or someone else walking around, there is a decent chance that that cash that ends up in that person's pocket that sold the card is going to be spent back in the room again. And like I said, it shouldn't be the Wild West, but it's 2025. Shows have evolved. You need to adapt with it, in my opinion, on this one. I think this take is bad and extreme in all the wrong ways. Next up on the old Facebook / social media nonsense. Boy, oh boy, just scroll through the sports card nonsense page any given day of the week. If you think dumb stuff happening to cards has gone away because of the crackdown on cleaning and things like that, here you have an example of someone using a pimple sucker. Yes, his wife's pimple sucker. I said that out loud. To try to remove a indent from a HFA. A non-rookie Trey Turner, which is probably about a $10 to $15 card. Maybe 20, being charitable. He's been sitting there for a couple of hours trying to use it. No, the video didn't cut out. That was just me hanging my head in shame at where we have gotten to. And once again, this sort of stuff happens every day. You scroll through that Facebook page, there are people asking about cleaning cards. Hey, I used X, Y, and Z product. It worked great. Hey, this, that, the other thing. Oh, this thing went sideways because I used this inappropriately. It is still the Wild West out there. I think people are just a little bit smarter about not posting it on social media. Be careful out there, folks, and don't use pimple suckers on your card. There was a rash of these emails that went out this week. I had quite a few people ping me with these, and a few people say that they got them but didn't get charged anything. I don't know if this was a little bit of a crackdown or just PSA kind of sending out a reminder that making sure you are submitting your cards in the appropriate protection. They want them in card savers. They do not want them in top loaders. They do not want them in mags, with the exception of super thick cards. They should be going in card savers. And they had threatened in their new terms and conditions about a year ago that they would charge you if that did not happen. And according to this post, this person was charged. In the comments of this post, they did say they were charged. A few other people commented when I shared this on Twitter and said that they got the same email, but they were not charged and that they had submitted everything correctly. So I don't know if it was just a general blast reminder from PSA, just reminding people to make sure that they are sending in the right thing, whether they are or aren't. I don't know. Maybe there's some additional crackdown going here. If you've seen anything like this or you got charged for it, please feel free to fire off in the comments down below. Speaking of emails, I did not pull anything up for this, but earlier this week, a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in, I did see that it looked like PayPal whacked a bunch of people's accounts. This seems to happen about every 6 months or so, maybe once a quarter, where a ton of people get hit all at the same time. And 95% of the time, it is because they took too much payment in friends and family, or they were not using the platform correctly. Be careful out there if you are doing that, because they will strike you, they will catch up with you, and your funds get locked for, I think, 90 days, maybe even 6 months, where you can't access them, you can't do anything with them, and it's hit or miss whether you get the money back at the end of it. So if you have a lot of money in your PayPal account, it can cause problems. So be careful out there with all that. And don't let, just as a reminder, and I don't know what number this is, every person's going to be different, but when your PayPal account gets to a certain place, it's probably a good idea, unless you're imminently about to make a purchase, to just transfer that money off there. You can always put it back on there. You can always figure it out. Just transfer the money off there. You should not be leaving vast sums of money in your PayPal account if you're not transacting with it on a regular basis. So just a friendly word of warning there. Let's talk about tops. We have a lot of tops news from this week. I'm going to kind of rapid fire through these. Disney Topps Chrome went up on EQL. I put in for it. I did not win. Hobby boxes are going for about $600. Mega boxes even have a little bit of flip to them compared to what they were at retail. We'll see when singles start hitting the market for these things and when the mass supply starts hitting for this. I have a feeling this is going to be a very popular release. It's going to get pumped. It's not for me. If I won it, I probably would not have even have opened any on the channel. I probably would have just 100% flipped it. But Disney Chrome will get a lot of heat. There is autographs in this product for voice actors, and there are some pretty heavy hitters and some pretty fun cards from that aspect of it. If I was going to chase anything, I would be looking at stuff like that, like a Tim Allen, Buzz Lightyear on card. I believe they're on card. I don't know that for sure. But auto, that's pretty cool. It's probably not something I'd ever go after because it'll probably sell for way more than I would want it to. But I get it. Like, I understand why something like that would have a lot of value. A random Buzz Lightyear red refractor to 5, no thanks. But hey, you do you. I collect Marvel cards, so I'm not going to throw shade at someone that wants to collect Disney cards. Topps Chrome Sapphire. I also put in for this. I also did not win. These are up to about $650 to $725, $750, depending on the individual day. So we'll just call it $700. I love Sapphire as a product. It's one of my favorite products to open. The checklist on this sucked. You are basically hoping for Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, and James Wood. And that's about it. I don't even think Kurtz is in the base checklist. He's only in the autograph checklist. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what I remember from glancing at the checklist. If I would have got this, I would have opened it on the channel just because I like opening Sapphire, but alas, I did not. Last but not least, Cactus Jack WWE. This one, a little bit of a different story, a dud. The ask price for this, I thought was around $450 after tax, shipping, and fees. They are barely selling for that price on eBay. I have heard, I haven't watched any yet, but some chatter on some Facebook groups that I'm in make it sound like these are not great to open. I don't believe you were guaranteed an auto in a box. I saw some stuff floating around out of there, people only pulling about 3 autos per box or per case. So I wanted to put in for this and I forgot. I got tied up at work, at a very hectic day on Friday at work, and completely whiffed on this. I missed it by about 20 minutes. And that may have been a blessing because I feel like more people won this one that I know. More people were like, yay, hey, I finally hit one. And I saw a lot of people trying to quick flip these in Facebook groups and getting kind of stuck because of what they are currently going for on the secondary market. So we'll see how this one plays out. There are some interesting autos in the auto checklist on it. So I might keep my eyes peeled to see if something pops up on that. But generally speaking, I may have got lucky not hitting on this one. Now, Topps, once again, they have a slew of releases coming up again. As they get more and more of these licenses, I just feel like we're going to get weeks like this all the time now. Last week we just went through it. Disney, Sapphire, and Cactus Jack. This upcoming week, WWE Finest. I believe, I don't know if this is getting, EQL drop. Once again, they keep doing these EQLs. Depending on price point, I might try for one of these. Some of these Finest autographs look pretty okay, and these Finest moments look kind of cool, but we'll have to see. In addition to that, Topps Chrome SpongeBob, also an EQL drop. SpongeBob, not for me. Was never into it, could care less. I know that it's popular. I know a lot of people like it. I have no idea how this set's going to perform. And then last but not least, we have Topps Chrome Boxing. Now, what I am intrigued about here is, and I probably won't buy this product. I'm not a big boxing person, but I'm interested to see what price point they put this up at. Remember, they threw this up on pre-order a few weeks ago at like $90 a box. They sold out instantly. They are currently going on the secondary market for about $250 a box, maybe even a little bit less than that. I am very curious to see what Topps jacks the price up to on actual release day later this week. So stay tuned for that. I think that'll be an interesting discussion point around how Topps does their pricing of sealed product. Pretty good auto checklist in this from what I've seen. A lot of people that are in the boxing seem to like some of the autographs that they were seeing out of this. We'll have to see how it plays out. It's not a product for me, is what it is. Let's hop over, take a quick peek at a few cards in Market Movers here. Link in the description down below if you want your own version of charts and graphs. Someone had asked me in I did that iconic cards going up video, and they're like, how can you possibly talk about all these cards and not mention the Jeter 93 SP foil? And well, sir or madam, the reason why is, and this is kind of surprising, the price hasn't gone up at all. It stayed completely flat. This is over the last year, and you could see not a lot of spikes one way or the other, fairly consistent. This is the PSA 9 and the PSA 8. Do remember PSA 10s of this card are nigh impossible. I think it's like a pop 22 on this in a PSA 10, and it sells for a few $100,000. PSA 9s go for about $4,200 over the last year. 1.7% change. That's it. Nothing crazy. And then the PSA 8, way more available, much more affordable, flat as well, down 2% at $350. So no huge price movements on here one way or the other. Now, and I was trying to think of why the case might be. And I think it is because, and don't get me wrong, Jeter's extremely popular, but Jeter is only extremely popular with Yankees fans. I don't know, and people could correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how much popularity Jeter has outside of the Yankee kingdom. Yes, general baseball collectors are going to want him to a degree, but I think a lot of the players that we talked about, like, I'll just use Griffey as an example. Griffey transcends local fan base. Everybody wants Griffey. If you grew up in the 90s, you want Griffey cards. If you grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, you may or may not want Jeter cards, depending on where you're at with the Yankees. That's just my opinion. I have no idea if that's correct or not, but I just found it kind of interesting that everything else is going crazy. And this, which I would consider an iconic card on paper, if you asked me to list out iconic cards of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for baseball, this would 100% be on that list. But the price hasn't moved on it at all. So We'll see where that plays out. Maybe that means it's a buying opportunity. I don't know. Personally, I just think his fan base is just a little bit more niche than some of those other guys that we talked about. Kind of bury the lead. In the NFL world, the season starts this week. We are a few days away from the opening kickoff, and we had a big trade. Micah Parsons moves from the Cowboys to the Packers, and his prices did get a bump off of this. Over the last 60 days, you can see a Silver Prism has been fairly consistently around the $80 price point. It jumped up to the $140 price point, so a pretty decent move based off that deal. Now, typically when we see things like this, it does not last for very long, so we will see how long this price holds and how he performs in his new home. But usually you get that little bit of bump off the news, and then it will renormalize again after the new fan base gets its hands on his stuff. Last but not least, I was just kind of curious. We've done a lot of, football talk. We looked at the quarterback prices on Friday. If you're curious how dangerous the NFL modern quarterback market could be, go back and look at Friday's video. But once again, continuing the theme that we've been talking about all summer, a lot of football players don't seem to be getting the run-up that they typically do prior to the season starting. We just have not seen that at all. We didn't see it up to the National. We didn't really see it at the National. And now it's continuing as we are right on the eve of the season starting. What I have done here is loaded up Silver Prisms, PSA 10s, rookies only, over the last 30 days. And I sorted this by biggest price swing in the upward motion. And it's not much. The most a card has moved in a Silver Prism over the last 30 days is $30 in the green. And it's Brock Purdy. I mean, you see some pretty big percentage gains here with some guys, but price changes not much. And I don't have to scroll very far till it stops. And then we get into the red, which is a little crazy. Even if I back this up 60 days, still not a ton of movement. You have Mahomes doing some stuff, but not much else outside of him. A little bit of Penix, Drake London love. Micah Parsons obviously got the bump up. Bryce Young got a little bit of love. Jamar Chase a little bit of love. But just something about the lead up to this NFL season feels different in what I'm seeing in prices across the board and just the general narrative. And I don't necessarily know what that means, but I'm curious for your thoughts on it. Are you noticing the same things, that this whole NFL lead up market to the season starting just does not, something feels slightly different? I just can't put my finger quite on it. I don't know. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. I'm going to go get to this Ohio State-Texas game. Catch you on the next one. Go Buckeyes. Peace.